What's up guys, Chris here, back to another video. So, Sony just came out with this camera here, the Sony FX30. You can see here, beautiful little camera. Love this camera, been using it quite a bit. I'm actually shooting today on the A7C. I normally shoot with this channel on the A7C. And I'm really enjoying this camera. I'm about to kind of build a little rig. We'll show that in some videos coming up. But folks, back in 2020, Sony came out with the Sony A7S Mark III, a long-awaited camera that many people wanted very bad. Myself included was one of those people that wanted that camera very bad, but could not justify. I have a different kind of theory when it comes to cameras. If I'm going to spend $3,500 on camera gear, I would like to have, I don't know, 2 or 3 cameras, maybe some lenses, rather than spending $3,500 on one body, and then you still have to buy lenses. So you look at something like this, and you're looking at $2,000 for this camera, right? $1,500 on lenses, and you're looking pretty damn good with this setup, yeah, right? So 2020, they came out with the Sony A7S Mark III. 2021, they came out with the big brother to this camera, the FX3. Beautiful camera, basically the same sensor, same kind of video features. They've since upgraded the FX3 with some new features to make it a little bit more, cinema line-ish over the FX or over the A7S Mark III. But if you didn't know, I've been a long-time kind of camera rumor channel. I had a channel called Camera Talk TV, I think it was called Camera Talk TV. And it was basically a rumor channel. I got up to about 800 subscribers, and 2019 came around, and I think, or maybe it was early 2020, I can't remember. Decided, you know what, all of my channels, I had a CJ Broad channel too. I've got a CJ Broad channel that I'm rocking now with 380 videos uploaded to it. Kind of a vlogging channel. I'm retired U.S. military, U.S. Air Force, so I gotta have something to do, So anyways, they came out with the FX3. So my longtime channel, I used to talk a lot about a possible A7000 camera that was supposed to come out and never did. So now you've got this camera, right? So Sony, in their wisdom, has not made a, in my opinion, viable APS-C camera yet, and the competition has caught up significantly and long past them when it comes to crop sensors. And they make the sensor in this camera. This is the XH2S here from Fuji. You've got the Canon R7 that just came out. You're looking at some high-end hybrid features. The GH6 just came out with some very high-end hybrid features. And I think that in 2023, it is time for Sony to do basically the same thing they did with the A7S Mark III and build me a A7000. They've been talking about, there's been rumors about an A7000 since at least 2018. So it's been a few years now, right? So I've been waiting for this camera for quite some time. It's not like something that that's why I picked up this camera. I pre-ordered it from the start. Right as soon as it was available to pre-order, I pre-ordered this camera, because this is what I've been waiting for from Sony for a long time. Now, with that being said, I have no intentions. My guess dream camera really is an A7S Mark III, or really even I could do with an A7 IV. But I have this A7C, and I've got one full frame lens for it, the 12-24 f4. And I would love to get a Sigma 6-24, either the 16-28 f2.8 or the 24-70 f2.8. Haven't really decided on which one I would like to get. I think I'm leaning towards the 24-70. Hard to get here in the Philippines, but it is what it is. But here's the problem with the A7 lineup. I mean, lenses are so much more expensive than the APS-C counterparts. There's so many great APS-C lenses now for this system, and as well as for the Fuji system. There's some amazing lenses now for these systems, and it is absolutely time that they make a camera with all of these video features, right? Same sensor, everything, that looks like an A7 IV. I personally think, now this is my personal opinion, a lot of people may have different opinions, that's fine. My personal opinion is that aesthetically looking, the A7 lineup of cameras is the best looking cameras on the market. They're much better than Canon, to me like a more of a modern look, especially the newer ones with the thicker grip on them. They're awesome cameras to me. I wouldn't honestly change a thing on those cameras. Some people, I've seen videos where the people are talking about, well, you know, this design is long overdue for a change. I don't think so. I think cameras like Canon and Nikon are due for a long overdue for a style change. Canon's RF mount lenses basically look exactly the same as their DSLRs. The same with the Nikons. Nikon's a little bit better. Panasonic, I never made DSLR, so their camera's a little bit more modern. I like the Panasonic S5 design, but I still like the A7 IV design better. But they've never made. I just think it is the time to make this ultimate hybrid APS-C camera. You know, you've got this one, right? You can get this one for like $1,800 without the top handle, right? And I think that if you were to make this camera or make this without the top handle, you know, with a EVF here, it would be just, I mean, like hotcakes, 4K 120, all that 10-bit video and stuff like that, 4K 60, all this stuff, you know. It would just give me the exact same camera as the A7S Mark III, basically, but with this sensor in it, APS-C sensor. It is absolutely time. The competition has surpassed when it comes to APS-C. Granted, this is an expensive camera here, and it's probably the same sensor. They're both 26 megapixel sensors that Sony makes, so I'm assuming this is exactly the same sensor that's in that camera. So I think, you know, now that we've got a high-end APS-C camera, it is time for a high-end APS-C hybrid camera, and no longer just a cinema type camera. There's not a lot of photo features in this, electronic shutter and stuff like that. So I think there's never been a better time, and I think in 2023, if Sony still does not come out with an A7000 series camera, and there's no rumors on it, there's nobody talking about it right now. It's just one of those things that I'm just like, hey, let's go, folks. It's time. You know what I mean? It's time for this camera to be announced, to be released. You know, it's long overdue, I think. I don't want to buy full frame cameras anymore. I'll never ever buy another full frame camera. I just don't think it's really necessarily to have a full frame camera. Now with these cameras that are getting so good, I can tell you right now, like I have the A7C, I use it for this camera, it stays here. I don't move this camera. The only time I ever take it off this tripod is when I go charge it. That's it, which I'm gonna probably do once I'm done with this video. And then I go out with my FX3, I go out with my XH2S, and I go out with my other A7 or ZV-E10 or my Panasonic S5. Those are the cameras that I take out when I go shoot. And I just think, you know, if they were to come out with a Sony, and I like Sony. Sony's my main camera. I bought this because, well, I didn't know this was coming. As soon as I bought this, the next couple days later, this thing was announced, and I was like, well, that's the camera I really wanted. But I'm loving this camera. I'm enjoying using it. But you know, the FX30 is an amazing camera too. I don't do a lot of photos, but at least this is a hybrid camera and I can do photos with it. And it would be really nice to have an A7000 version, basically a Sony version of this camera, that I can shoot photos with, a hybrid version, stuff like that. You know, a 26 megapixel sensor, 4K 120, all that stuff. Give me that and an APS-C. Granted, yeah, you're going to cut way into your, you know, full frame, but I think I saw a video recently where somebody talked about how there was never going to be another A7S series ever again. There's not going to be an A7S Mark IV, and I could see that because you can't get 8K out of a 12 megapixel sensor, and you know, the sensitivity piece of it, it's called A7S, S is for sensitivity. The sensitivity piece of it, you know, it's not as dominant in low light as it used to be. You know, the A7S Mark II, when that was that was announced, that dominated low light. Well, now every full frame camera can do pretty much what that is. I've seen videos where they competed the A7R Mark IV versus the A7S Mark III in low light, and I kind of, until it got to super high ISOs, which who the hell is shooting at 100 and something thousand ISO? You know, it was right neck and neck with it. So it's like, you know, the sensitivity isn't really there anymore. If you're gonna put a 24 megapixel sensor in there, or you need 33 at least, I think, to shoot 8K, That's why I think the A7 IV had that sensor in it, because I think that sensor will be in the next version of the A9 Mark III or whatever it's going to be coming out. Maybe it's the 4, I can't remember. So yeah, anyways, that's about it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.